Hey everyone, welcome to another $2,000 strap search. I've got my $2,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, I tell you guys all the time when you're going through your singles, make sure to unfold all of those dog-eared corners. At first, the thought process is if you straighten out all the bills, they're much easier to count when you bring them back to the bank and they put them through the counting machine. The last thing you want to do is be a pain to the tellers. But there's another added benefit of doing that. Let me show you what that is. I'm going to take these, I'm just going to scoot them out of the way. Let me bring this over. I got an email from my friend Dennis Huff, and Dennis sent me this picture, which he called the world's smallest butterfly fold. Now, if you look right here, you can see the crease, and you can see how this portion of the note was folded over and actually sticks out just this little bit right here. I can probably zoom in on that just a little bit more there. But anyway, yeah, by unfolding this, he was able to actually spot this very tiny butterfly fold, but that is a cutting error. There is extra paper there, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for errors that are significant, not just an extra dot here or something that's a little darker or whatever. This may seem small, but there's extra paper there. Anybody can see that. So that's a legitimate error. Yes, it's not 4 inches wide, but it's there and you can see it. So that's why you want to make sure to undog ear all of your corners, just in case you also have the world's smallest butterfly cut error fold like that. All right, so let's get this out of the way and let's take a look at what I found this week. Now, like I said, I'm going through 2,000 singles, so I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as possible, just trying to catch up on the inventory that I've got. All right, got a Where's George. Almost didn't notice this one here, but Where's George is right there on the side, so I'll log that one right away. This one, the thing I noticed here was it has just a counter stamp on it, no big deal. But if I looked on this side, it also is a Where's George. So yeah, 2 Where's Georges like that. And these are 2 different types of Where's Georges, so I will log them both, of course. Found an alternator. One's is the alternator, 1 5, 1 4, 1 4, 1 9. Too bad that wasn't a 5. That would have been really cool. I found a bunch of birthdays, if I remember right. Here's 1999, the 20th of, 1999, the 29th of February. So no, this isn't a birthday note. It's really close to a birthday note, but it's not. February 29th only happens once every 4 years, but definitely not on an odd year. So no, this is not a birthday note. But this one is. This is 1987. The 26th of September. And what do we got here? Some trinaries, 0s, 1s, and 6s, 0s, 1s, and 2s, 3s, 5s, and 7s, 2s, 3s, and 6s, 3s, 4s, and 6s, that one's pretty rough, 3s, 7s, and 8s, 0s, 5s, and 6s, 4s, 5s, and 8s, 3s, 7s, and 9s. That 9's a little high. See, just in going through my stuff, I can still spot those odometer errors or gas pump errors. They're so frequent. I pulled out 10 of them just to see how many I could pull out of a single strap. So no, they're not hard to get. Please don't spend $10 on them. Just buy a strap and go through it. You'll find them yourself. Let's see, 1s, 5s, and 6s here. 0s, 1s, and 6s, and this bill's just, well, it's almost tore in half, and it's retaped, so that's going back. 2s, 3s, and 4s on this one, and some quads. This one is not only quads, it's also a birthday note. That would be 1908, November 11th, but it's also quad 1s. Quad 3s. I want to say quad 5s. There's actually 6 5s. It starts with 2 5s, ends with 4 5s. So that's a trinary, 5s, 8s, and 9s. It's quads, quad 5s, and it's 6 of a kind on there. So that's pretty cool. And this one has 5 1s in a row. And if you look at it, the more I stare at it, the more those ones don't even look even to me. So yeah, once again, just showing how common that is of a thing for the gas pump errors to not line up right. It's just not something that's worth additional money. Some stars. 2017 star, checking to make sure both stars are either one, making sure they're not filled in. Another 2017, starting with a couple zeros, so that could be good. 2017 also with a few zeros. 2017 again. And another 2017. So I found a few, but you have to remember that this is going from 2000, not just the standard 1000. 2013, and then some older notes, 2003. Now look at that. Out of 2,000 notes, I found one 2003. 2001, 2001, another 2001, 1999, 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. It is not. Another 95, also not a web note. 1993, not a web note. 88A, not a web. 88A, also not a web note. 1988, 1977A, a 1969, that's the oldest note I found. And what was the find of the week for 2,000 notes? I found this. Check that out. 4922222. 6 twos. All 6 in the trailing position. So yeah, that was cool. That's something I don't find all the time. All right, so what did I pull out this week? Well, let's take a peek as I get readjusted. Here we go. I have had this for a little while. I just haven't brought it out yet. What this is an 1862 $1 Confederate States of America note. And it does feature Lucy Pickens. Lucy Pickens, of course, better known as the Queen of the South. She wasn't really, but that was just her nickname, the Queen of the South. Now, Confederate States of America $1 bill, the very first thing you're going to notice is the condition. And the condition on this is rough, but there's a very good reason for that. If you were to actually take this note out and feel it, it is ridiculously thin. This was made on rice paper, so it doesn't hold out. It doesn't hold out very well. Also, it's a small denomination. It's a 1, which means these were spent regularly, often. And when you have notes that are used as often as these, they tend to wear out fast. Trying to find a 1 or a 2 in really good shape, good luck. It's extremely difficult to do. Now, I was always impressed by the way that this note looks. At a glance, to me, this has a comic book picture to it. I don't know if it's the way that Lucy Pickens is drawn or if it's the way that the text is here, but I always get like a comic book, or maybe that's not even the right way to think of it. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Well, that was still part of a comic book as well before it was a TV show. So, but that's just the imagery that immediately comes to my head. Now, the $1 United States or Confederate States of America note says 6 months after the ratification of a treaty of peace between the Confederate States and the United States, the Confederate States of America will pay $1 to the bearer. So, and then what else do we got over here? Fundable in 8% or Confederate States. Yeah, I can't make quite all of it out. Receivable in payment of all duties except export duties. That's what it says there. These were hand signed. You can see the signatures down here just barely. And of course, this is June 2nd, 1862. The numbering is right here. It was done, I don't want to say that it was done in red ink, but through the years, the ink has faded to a color that resembles red, and you can just barely make it out. It looks like 621, maybe a 32. Yeah, that looks about right. But like I said, these were used. These were heavily circulated in the South because it was a small denomination. Everybody was able to get them and to use them, and everybody wanted to use them because it was their stuff. They wanted to use the Confederate stuff and not the Union side. Here's the back. Nothing on the back at all. There is another version of this, and it has a green overprint, and that's next on my list to get. So be on the lookout for that. Let's take a quick peek at the book and see what the book has to say. And we take a look here. There it is. You can see it right there. $1 notes. In the center, a vignette of a three-masted ship at sea. Liberty standing at left. Bust of Lucy Holcomb Pickens in oval frame at right. And the reverse is blank. And right underneath it, you can see the green overprint one that I was talking about. That one's a little more rare, a little tougher to find. But look at the prices for the one that we're talking about here. In VG8, you're talking $45. In 12, you're talking 80. In a 20, you're talking 125. EF40, you're talking 175, and choice uncirculated, $250. So that is what I've got for you guys this week. A $1 CSA from 1862. If you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.